All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Woodwell. Hello, T. Welcome back to RB Axolotl. Yes. Okay. I gotta keep it. Stay consistent. Stay consistent. Okay. Last time. Hello, Apparition. Welcome to the stream. Last time. The three quote-unquote baby axolotls. No, it is. Oh shit, did I say it wrong? Fuck. It's axolotl. God damn it. No! Fuck. The three baby axolotls were revealed to not actually be babies, of course. You know, they didn't age. And they were minions of the Eye, who we now know is like a separate antagonistic force from, oh, look at that ink in the corner. Interesting. I didn't know that. Like, do you see that ink, like, changing? Wow. The ink here, there was, like, a dark purple and a light purple ink. Oh. I wonder if that has to do with, like... And, hello, Doors. Welcome to the stream. And, yeah, look at ink again. Hold on. Is he gonna change? No, it's just the four of them here. All five, I mean. God damn it. Animation! Loop! Why won't you loop, animation?
Why don't you ever answer me, Ocean?
God, you know what? Hold on, I really gotta see this. No, fuck. It remembers! God damn it! Okay, anyway, what happened last time? The babies ate all the plants and fucked up the tank. They're evil minions of the Eye, which we now know is like an antagonistic force to RB and the axolotls. And they managed to escape. The other three managed to escape. Axie somehow spit out a second version of himself, which was the thing that was preventing him from going inside the void fully. I have no idea what's up with that. And like that was totally crazy. But yeah, they escaped into the void, and now everybody's in the void. So what are we gonna do? I'm assuming the war is between, that was mentioned before, is between RB and the Eye. We might even learn the Eye's name. Let's get back into it. Oh yeah, and Neo and Lana seemed to hit it off a bit last time too.
We made it, didn't we? I think we must be inside the void right now, aren't we? We made it! We made it! Oh, hell yeah! I can't believe it! There is no ground here, but if there was, you can be sure I'd be hugging it right now. Lana? Where are you? I felt your presence just a second ago. Oh god, it's all coming back to me. Are you okay?
Oh god, that's right. Yeah, she lost. They ripped off her fucking legs. I'm here. But didn't something horrible just happen? The babies ripping. Was that just a nightmare? An old memory?
I'm not sure, but I remember it too, vaguely.
Oh wow, they barely remember. Well, even if it was scary, right now I feel completely fine. Oh, that's good. Nothing hurts at all. Nothing at all. So whatever. Woo! Let's celebrate. Good times. Come on. We freaking did it, you guys! We made it somewhere new! That's right, after all this time! A whole new adventure's about to start. But wait. First things first. Where is Axie?
Are you?
Oh. Axie, you're okay! Thank goodness.
Axie, I'm glad too. If you're here, then everything must have gone well. Although I'm still unsure where here is exactly. We don't have bodies right now.
Oh, really? They don't? Are they just like souls?
And yet, here we are.
Here we are. Here we are.
Talking or communicating somehow with each other. Inside the void, I expected a lot of unexplainable things, but this...
Hey, let me say something to you guys real quick.
Ooh, is Axie gonna reveal what, like the second hymn?
I need to apologize.
Oh my god. Here we go. Axie must have known something.
I should have believed in you guys.
Oh, no, he's apologizing for not trusting them about leaving.
You were just trying to look out for me. I'm sorry,
Hey, we're here and alive, right? No spilt milk? We love you and forgive you. And nothing can change that. Hello, Zarmegas, welcome to the stream. But like you were saying, Neo, where do we go from here? You should try to find RB. And, frickin' Eng and Liam.
Yes, this place is quite strange. But man, does it feel so nice to be able to think clearly. Back in the void, I wouldn't have even been able to tie my shoelaces right now. Haha.
You don't wear shoes. You're like frickin' Franklin, Neo. You don't wear shoes, even though you count shoe tying as one of your skills.
That's right, shoes. I regret never inventing shoes.
Why are you guys changing the topic? I did something really bad. It's only natural that I apologize.
Yeah, I'm beginning to remember a little more. The kids, they fought us.
And it was because of me.
But, hey, it doesn't hurt in here, Axie. Nothing hurts. At all. I just feel really calm. Do you see what I'm saying? It's okay. Don't worry about what happened. If you want to apologize for yourself, fine. But don't worry about us.
Actually, now that you mention it, I'm curious. Why did the kids do what they did?
The eye is an evil force.
Things were moving a little too quickly for me to analyze the situation.
Yeah, about that. A few months ago, they came to me on their own. And they were talking. I mean, like, sentient and stuff. They said what I was thinking at the time. That by you guys going into the void, you'd be killing yourselves or doing something even worse.
Hello, Mystery Theater. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, no, they looked way too creepy to be good guys.
And you guys are my family. I couldn't bear to watch you throw your lives away and die. So, I listened to them.
Well, the triplets sure bamboozled us. I wonder how long they've been able to speak.
Yeah, I don't know when they had the time. The real question is, why did they attack me? If they really wanted to save me, then why'd they go so far as to rip off my limbs? No, it was a ruse. You guys don't get it.
They must have been trying to keep us away from the void. That's the only thing I can think of that would make even a lick of sense. But it doesn't look like they're here, even if they followed us. I spent a large portion of my life in the tank dreading the void. How bleak it must be. I've had horrible nightmares of this place. But, at least, right now, there's nothing to be afraid of in here. It's kind of cozy, actually. Perhaps I'm just happy that we're not in the state that we were anymore. Being sick like that, it was a real drag. Horrifying, actually. Feels more like a bad dream now that I'm out of it.
Liam!
Wait, Neo, you were sick? Well, I'm glad to hear you're feeling better now.
Oh, reunion time! No, wait! You! Oh, the green text! I knew it anywhere! I never thought I'd see you again! Is it really you? Oh my god!
In the flat, or... Right, no body. Even though I've been here a couple of times, I still don't understand this place at all.
Liam, what do you mean a couple of times?
It's really you, Liam? You're not lying to me? That's really your name?
Well, no. I'm not lying to you, Axie. But for the past... Oh gosh, I don't know how long it's been. I've gone by a different name.
Really? Really? You've gone by a different name?
It feels nostalgic to be called Liam again by someone other than him.
Liam, this is unbelievable! I wish we talked more. Way back when, and,
He's such a bore. Why the hell would you want to talk to him when you could be talking with me?
Yeah, I'm gonna be, yeah. There's something going on with Ank's, yeah. Ank's gender is kind of up in the air now, but, based on previous happenings. So, yeah, I'm gonna change Ank's voice. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Is that Ank?
The one and only. Though, how could you ever forget a presence this sexy? Truly.
Hank.
Hey, Axie.
Are you still the same after all this time?
Maybe I am. Let's not waste time then. If you'd like to fight me, let's do it right here and now. Unless you're afraid.
Of you? Ha! Never! I beat you once and I beat you again. The only reason I couldn't beat you the other time is because RB gave you superpowers and turned you into a kaiju.
RB said that we don't have bodies here.
Well, yeah, Void Dweller, that's true, but it literally happened twice. If it was just once, I wouldn't think anything of it, but it literally happened twice.
That means I won't leave a stain when I'm finished with you.
Just ignore him. He's just a little grumpy that he didn't get to say goodbye to everyone in town.
Huh? You want me to ignore him? Liam, do you understand what you're saying? That's Ink! The same Ink that tormented you! The last time we saw him, he said he was gonna torture you in here!
Yeah, well, that was then and this is now. A lot of time has passed, hasn't it?
Shut the fuck up. I could still do it, you know. Torture you until your eyeballs peel off.
He talks big like that, but don't worry, guys.
Why are you defending him? Hank of all people?
He always says he'll do all this terrible stuff to me all this time, but he can't. A long time ago, RB tied our souls together. So if he hurts me, he hurts himself.
Oh, that's what that was about. Interesting. That's what that was about in the game.
Secondly, I don't think he would hurt me anymore. Not after everything we've been through.
Oh my god! They went through adventures together! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Liam! Oh my god, you gotta tell! Yes! And just what have you been through? You couldn't have been floating in here all this time, right?
God, no. I'd be puking up my own shit if I had to be in this boring place for so long. I don't know how Bracket Boy does it.
If you weren't in here, then where were you?
Oh, it's a story, all right.
Maybe even a story and a half.
Oh, tell!
We had new lives. We lived as humans for a while now.
Oh my, oh wow.
Did you say you lived as humans?
Oh my god! 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 Are we gonna get more? Are we gonna get more?
Yeah, and we were even hailed as heroes in this world. But it wasn't like we lost our memories of you guys or anything.
That's right, Axie. Your annoying voice has been haunting my nightmares for ages now.
I'm still as curious as you are about our lives from before. In fact, the last time we were here, RB promised us that we'd learn our real identities soon enough.
Real identities? What does that mean? Wait. What?
The identity that predates everything, including the tank. I want to know what happened, but I can't say I'm looking forward to revisiting that place.
Yeah, like the grittily realistic human world Liam is talking about with the pills.
He showed me a bit of something a long time ago, and it's been haunting me ever since.
Guess that's why Bracket Boy summoned us back. You know, it's about damn time.
You're still grumpy, aren't you, Egg?
Oh my god, this is so amazing that they get along. Oh my god, 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 oh my god.
You miss her, don't you?
Don't start with me. And you better not say anything else or I'll beat you silly.
Talking about Lana. Yeah. No. Who does he miss? You better tell me. Oh my god. Oh, Egg had a dog.
His puppy Gami.
Shut up!
Hank? Our Ink? Our Ink is a cute puppy.
Shut the fuck up, Axie! Before I...
Hey, I need to know. This place you two lived in, was perhaps our mutual benefactor RB there too?
I don't even know if he has a body. There was one time he talked to me, but that was a special occasion.
Bracket Boy is a mysterious little fuck. We've been following his orders for years, and yet we still know next to nothing about him.
His orders?
Well, kinda. We mostly did our own thing, and it sort of aligned with his interests.
And his interests were?
I think he just wanted to restore order to the kingdom.
Oh my god. Liam, you gotta dish. You got to dish. I want deets. Come on.
Wait, you were in a kingdom, Liam? That's so cool!
Yeah, we lived for half a century.
They lived there for 50 years. They lived a whole lifetime there.
We lived for half a century or more in a place called the Kingdom of Glass.
Oh my god.
Never really found out why they named it that way, though.
I guess they missed some lore.
It's not like the kingdom was literally made out of glass.
The kingdom of what?
And that's just like the world in the old VR headset. And we even used a setting based off that from one of our longer art role-playing campaigns.
Yes, so the headset we found under the rock must have been...
My rock, huh? Haven't thought of that place in a while. Home sweet home.
Was that game real?
You saw us in a game? What the hell kind of trippy shit is that? Think you must have seen my incredible sorcery.
Oh my god, you actor, fucking swear you better show this. You better fucking show this. Oh my god. Oh my god. I want to see more. I gotta see more. I gotta see more. More Kingdom of Glass. I wasn't sure if it was ever gonna come back, except like maybe like a cute reference. Oh my god. They lived there for 50 years? Oh my god!
I was one of the most powerful sorcerers in the land.
Yeah, exactly. And being a caster, that like goes against their whole presumed personality. Sorcerer, huh? Didn't you have a secret? Oh, here we go! Oh my god, okay. Are we gonna get an answer on this?
Now's not the time.
Hey Liam, I know there's a lot to talk about now, but there's something I've been wondering. Something that's been bothering me for a long, long time. Here we fucking go! How's your health been in the years since you left the tank?
Oh, I'm still sick.
God damn it! Aww. Really? Oh, that sucks. Oh. You are? After all this time. He seems fine right now. Oh god.
Yep, but it's okay. Not gonna lie, I still have my off days. But generally, things are... well, they're viable now.
Okay, so he's improving, but it took a long time. Viable? What do you mean?
I've gotten better at managing my symptoms. I can go out and do things. I'd even think clearly as long as I pace myself. Life can still be crappy, but it can actually be pretty darn good. Sometimes. Even if it's been a while, things are still at a work in progress. For a long time, life was probably even worse than it had been in the tank. But despite it all, I'm still here.
I think it's Void Dweller. I think it's because it's very mental with Liam. Oh, hello, Redvon. Welcome to the stream.
And good times have been had.
And who do you have to oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! And who do you have to thank for some of those good times?
Is he being sarcastic? I can't tell.
Well,
Oh my god, oh my god!
well, we've lived together now for quite some time. I guess there were good times, but it really took a while to get there.
I wanna see it! I wanna see it! It's still so hard to believe. You and Anne getting along together after all this time? But that makes me really happy.
I don't know if getting along is the right word. But I can tolerate him. Since you guys are so nosy about us, now we get to be nosy about you. What have you dumbasses been doing for the past 60 years?
I guess, simply put, living.
We haven't been on any grand adventures like it sounds the two of you went on. But we did have an enjoyable, relaxing time in the tank.
What are you talking about? We did go on a couple of adventures, though we made them up ourselves. We played D&D forever. Still, they were amazing. Beyond amazing.
Actually, you're stealing my phrases here. Oh my god!
So, how's the tank been doing all this time? And my rock?
Your rock has been mostly untouched. Well, we made a statue sticking out of the bottom of it, but that's all. But the rest of the tank is, well...
It's changed quite a bit. There have been multiple eras of it even. I think we've all thought at points that you'd probably love what it turned into.
Tell me. Tell me all about it. I'm really interested.
Well, do you recall the couple of colorful plants that grew near the northwest corner? You'll never imagine how key those plants were to the wonderful life we lived. You see, they regenerate, and we use them to make all sorts of structures. It was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, as the two parties caught up, another listened in as well. Uh-oh. Oh, this is RB.
I wonder, is all my hard work about to pay off? Or are you five nothing more than another dud? After all this time, I suppose the moment of truth is here.
Uh-oh, what's gonna happen?
I hope you're ready. I hope your time in the kingdom and your time in the tank has allowed you to reason out the truth.
Well, that wasn't everything. Not even close. But it should give you two a fairly good picture as to what we've been doing for the past eternity.
It sounds like it was a lot of fun. And really relaxing.
If you ask me, it sounds boring compared to the kind of shit we've been doing. Unlike your silly role-playing campaigns, we had to deal with real magic. And wars. And monsters.
Still, I wouldn't trade our lives in the tank for anything. I am just feeling so fucking blue-balled right now. I need to see the Kingdom of Glass. I am just, oh my god. Oh my god. I need to see it. I fucking need to see it. God, like seriously. Oh my god. Oh god. Like you have no idea how much I want to see it. Like, still, I wouldn't trade our lives in the tank for anything.
Neither would I. Even if the ending was messy, I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
I'm a bit curious as well. As to this supposed messy ending of yours.
Ha! That's him, isn't it? It's gotta be him. I remember that way of talking from the messages. I knew you'd come by sooner or later. I guess it's finally time for us to meet. RB. From my perspective, we met several times before, Neo. But I suppose there is no way you could know that. Very well. I'll do my best to live up to your imagination then.
Okay, RB, what form are you going to choose for yourself?
Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Rock Bottom, the Territory Lord. And from this point onwards, until I dismiss you, or until the end of time, I am your master. I am your master and you are my minions. That is the nature of our relationships, henceforth. Now, here in this tiny slice of trisectional stands the 5 seeds I planted so long ago. You 5, my new minions, potential key players in the conflict yet to come.
It did change to Umineko-esque. Boy, Teller, I noticed that.
Hey, what about Liam and I?
We've been doing more than shopping liver for you these last few years, Bracket Boy. All was in preparation for this exact day, this exact moment. Though I suppose that means less to me, a manipulator of time.
So, what do you want us to do? More importantly, what happens if we're not prepared for this conflict?
You will rest, as you should not be useful in the war.
Really?
And be discarded, like the vast majority of F-essences you see floating around you.
Oh my god.
But lament not this possibility. It will cause you no more pain. And depending on the outcome of the future, you may be better off that way besides. As for the task I ask of you now, it is simply answering a question.
A test? But I didn't get to study! You're saying our lives come down to a test? I always got last place whenever we had quiz night.
I believe we'll all be answering this question together, Axie. Is that correct, RV? Indeed.
Okay, Malos.
So then, Axie, Lana, Liam, Enk, Neo. The final question. The first and last and most important question. Who are you?
Huh? Who are we?
Guys, I thought this might be the question he'd ask us. In fact, I've even prepared a possible answer.
I also... When he said that, something came to mind. Something that's crossed my mind a few times over the years.
Well, I'm second guessing myself.
What the fuck does that mean? Like he wants them to find their true selves?
But I guess I can answer too with my gut.
Last time I was in here with RB and Egg, some troubling things were said. It was from reflecting on that conversation that I was able to come up with an idea that might be the answer as well.
Oh, please, Bracket Boy. That question is so fucking easy. Anyone with half a goddamn brain could get it. What do you think I finally stopped hating Liam?
But we only came to an understanding a couple of years ago. We lived in the Kingdom of Glass for over 25 years under the same roof.
Shut up!
Anyway, it sounds like we're all on the same page. Are you ready? Let's say what's on our minds all at once, on the count of 3.
What's going on? Where? Are they gonna fuse? What did this say? What? What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean?
It sounds like you all came to that conclusion separately. For a long time, I had some idea.
What does that even mean?
I might not have always been confident enough to bet my life on it, as I just have, but it was an intriguing hypothesis. For a while, I assumed it was only me, Lana, and Axie who must be the same.
Same as what? What does that even mean?
But that just didn't feel right.
It's something I hope was secretly true. The idea came to me one day in the tank randomly, and thought it was just a mild intuition. The idea never left. Never in my wildest dreams. It was this conversation that really gave it away. Talking to Liam and Hank after all these years like no time had passed at all. It's weird to say aloud, but it really did feel like catching up with myself.
I found out the reason why I hate myself. It's the only thing that made any sense at all.
Are they all like different aspects of the same entity? This is kind of like almost like Arknights with the with the freaking Sui. Were they like one being that split into 5?
We've all heard each other at points, haven't we?
This begs another question, doesn't it? If once upon a time we all occupied the same consciousness, what was our collective name?
Is it possible for us to know that? With all of the information we currently have?
Well, of course it is. I won't penalize you for not knowing, but you could think of it as a sort of bonus question if you'd like.
Isn't it obvious, you idiots? Our name together has to be Ink.
Gross.
Yeah, well, let's see you brainiacs come up with a better idea.
I might have one. Throughout the years, I've spent many nights hunched over in my lab looking at my notes. There was a particular time, one of my less pleasant lower hours, during an earlier portion of the tank's history.
Alan.
At the time, I was spending hours in a stupor, hoping that the void would work again, just absently staring at our names printed down on a page. I was just lucky that I accidentally arranged our names in the format I did, in the order I did. But now that I think about it, was it luck at all? Was it an infinite amount of monkeys pressing random keys on a typewriter? Or was it simply some form of intuition, as you had suggested, Lana? An old memory coming back? Either way, I came across this configuration.
Yeah. That was the entity's original name. Alan.
By taking the first letter of each of our names in this order and putting them together, Alan. The name stuck out to me in a way I can't quite put into words. It rang a bell somewhere deep inside my heart. I imagine it's hard to forget your own name, yet somehow I have. Is that right, RB? Or have I made some mistake? Even if the name stood out to me at the time, there wasn't much I could do even with this assumption. At the time, I was afraid of opening up old wounds and bringing it up to you guys. It's always been in the back of my mind, though. Eventually, I sort of forgot about it. It's not like we didn't have other things going on at the time. It's only now that it seems to be all coming together. Do you guys agree?
Neo, I think I just realized the full gravity of what you've been trying to say. If this is true, that we're all secretly the same Alan character, then I've been an egghead all along! Ah, no! It can't be! They'll go Yancy me again! They'll beat me up and take my lunch money and leave me out into the rain like a dog!
Alan, huh? That's a boy's name. I can't say I'm not disappointed. I was hoping that we'd be a girl. A cute girl.
I knew all along that we must have had a different name. It sounds familiar to me too. I would go with Neo on this one.
How did they get separated? And how are they in this void? And what exactly was this Alan?
I would go with Neo on this one.
Alright, so we know our goddamn name. Whoop-de-fucking-do. So what's the word, braggart boy? Do we pass your stupid-ass test?
You do. Congratulations, Alan. You've passed all the prerequisites I set out for you. This is in itself does not mean your essence is ready. But it does mean I am comfortable gambling on that possibility.
Mr. RB, sir? I think it's safe to say that you lost me.
So what the fuck is going on?
What are you comfortable gambling us on?
I think we're getting back somewhere. A place that's haunted me ever since we've been separated.
So you have an idea then?
Yeah. You three have never been through this before.
It's not fun, even for a sadist like me. Your head will feel fuzzy, and you'll start remembering weird shit like you're hallucinating. Although remembering things last time made things even more confusing to me for a while.
Now that the five of you gathered here, you should be able to see much more of the truth. Tell this story of your life amongst yourselves. Fill in the gaps of knowledge that others are missing. And then come back to me and we can start the process for you to become Alan again.
They're gonna fuse again?
This is, of course, assuming none of your essences shatter.
I've always knew it had to revisit that time. Well, I'm as ready now as I'll ever be.
Do they even want to refuse?
What say the rest of you? If you're not ready, then I must postpone this.
I'm ready to have my hopes of being a cute girl dash into oblivion, if that's what you mean.
Little kid me better be saying hi, yeah. And it better be adorable.
Yes, let's go.
Back to that time, huh? Well then, bring it on!
Even if you may have once shared the same essence, it does not change the fact that you are now distinct, different personalities.
Okay, good. I'm worried then, like, wouldn't, like, refusing be like killing them?
When you return, we'll have more to talk about.
Yeah, like, is it even a good idea to refuse them back together? Is that something that they even want? Like, damn. Holy shit. And how did they get in this situation then?
Good luck. Not every project of mine reaches this point.
And so why did the Eye want to stop this?
The five of you have potential.
Here we go.
Well, we're here. Right off the bat, huh? Looks like we're gonna have to deal with this place first.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Mystery Theater. Like, would they be okay with that? Like, I think that's something they should all discuss if it's something that they actually want. To be back, like, because as one entity again. This place? What exactly is this place?
It's a hospital. It's a hospital where a lot of bad things happened.
That seems wrong. Or perhaps not entirely right. What else do you remember about this environment, Liam?
Well, aside from it being horrible, the staff treating us like animals. Not very much, to be honest.
I want you to think about what RB just told us, Liam. We gotta fill in the gaps for each other where our memories are missing.
We're starting at the beginning, aren't we?
That's right. I don't know what happened to us later in life at the hospital. But before that, before anything, this hospital saved our life.
Oh, does Axie know what's going on here? Wait, do you mean...
That's right, Lana. We were born here.
I remember too.
Really? V Morgana Hospital.
V Morgana Hospital.
Oh my god. Amazing reference. September 22nd, 4:53 a.m.
September 22nd, 4:53 a.m.
Oh wow. It's the day before my birthday.
A baby boy was born via cesarean section. Premature by over a month and a half, our weight was a mere 3 pounds and 3 ounces.
Oh no.
For whatever reason, we weren't getting enough good enough oxygen, sorry. So they monitored our mother, and as soon as our lungs were developed enough, they decided to take us out. They warned her, both of our parents, about possible complications. We could have had birth defects, we could have been born without a working heart, had a cognitive disability growing up. It's very possible that we could have died as an infant and had no life at all. But we lived.
Thank God.
After the successful operation, we spent over a month and a half in the neonatal intensive care unit.
Neonatal intensive care unit, Neo.
Yes, it was only due to the hard work of the nurses and doctors staffed at the time that we were able to have a life in the first place. It was in this way that our essence began taking shape, truly, and we were born.
I can't remember that time at all.
Who would remember that time as a baby?
Well, yes, you'll be hard-pressed to find someone who remembers stuff from when they were an infant. Our parents told us all of this secondhand. What do you remember, Axie? What are some of your earliest memories?
Earliest memory. I couldn't tell you what comes first chronologically, but I do remember a couple of snapshots from when we were young bugs. Riding our tricycle in the backyard, playing in the sandbox, like a toddler on a mission. Do. Crawling around on the floor of the living room like a rugrat. Nickelodeon. Yeah, yes! Then turn on the TV and actually watching Rugrats.
Okay, so Ellen is a 90s kid like me.
Cartoons are the best! I remember eating ice cream in the park with our dad. I remember doing boring errands with our mom. It was nice living at the drugstore, always gave us candy. Sleepy bedtime, stories at night. Going to the park, swimming with people for a jazz concert with their parents.
Sounds like they had a really good childhood.
I remember Cub Scouts and soccer. Maybe a little bit of preschool. I think I had my first ever crush.
Yeah, preschool crushes are just like, it's so weird when you think about it. Like, why does that even happen?
The list goes on and on.
You mentioned our parents. I remember them too. They really loved us back then, huh? They must have prayed for us real hard to live when we were in the hospital. I can't imagine what they went through. Same. Oh no.
I remember the bastards too, but maybe not as wistfully as you do, Alana.
Dad was a repairman, and Mom was a chef down at a local restaurant. Accidentally clicked off the screen. I think they were modest, simple but hardworking. A little old-fashioned, but from what I'm starting to remember, they loved us a ton.
Yeah, we had a fun as heck childhood. And it was because of them, I think. I can't believe you guys don't remember the good times.
I do, a bit.
I remember water balloon fights on hot days. I remember sleepovers with some of our best friends. We used to play anime card games.
Oh my god! Dude, it sounds like you had an awesome childhood.
We used to play anime card games well into late hours at night and beat each other up over video games like Super Smash and M-Cart.
Leave it to Axie to remember all the dumb shit. All the unimportant shit.
But Hank, don't you remember the time we followed those train tracks all the way down to the woods and find a dead body?
I think you're thinking of a movie.
Did that really happen?
Yeah. He's thinking of a movie we watched, I think. Yeah, that was a movie.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't change a single thing. It's still nostalgic to me.
So yeah, Alan was totally a 90s kid. Encinos. Is that Encino, California is a town, I think.
Growing up and exploring Encinos with all our friends were some of the best, most magical parts of our life.
So yeah, Encino is a town.
And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
What did you say? Encinos?
Yep, that's where we were born. That's where we lived most of our life, I think. The sleepy, small, yet totally exciting town of Encinos.
Dang, I gotta say, this Alan combination of entities grew up in a very similar town to mine. Like, I grew up in like a totally nobody suburb of New Jersey. You know, watching cartoons. Pretty decent home life, at least as a younger child.
A long time ago, RB told me that he named Ank after something called Encinos. Named me Ank after something called Encinos. I guess her hometown must be more important to him than he's let on.
What's not to love about Encinos? The community is tight-knit. It's quiet and homely here. And we're only about an hour away from a big city.
Dang, that is exactly like where I grew up. Jesus Christ. That is like exactly like where I grew up. It's definitely fuzzy for me, but I do remember a lot of happiness growing up where we did. The lake in particular was where we spent a lot of time, I think. I think Encinos might be a bit more rural than where I grew up. Mine was more of a suburb, but it's very similar to where I grew up. Does anyone else remember spending a lot of time there?
Vaguely. We used to come up with the ideas on that lake, didn't we?
Yep. About all sorts of things. And not a care in the world what we did it too. I feel weird for bringing this up. But we drew a few important pictures with our friend at the lake. Our friend. What was her name? Does anyone remember? They had a friend?
Not me.
Nope.
Nah.
Our friend. I think I feel the same way as you do. I want to remember her, but I can't. It was a really happy time after all. Maybe it's even possible that you remind me a little of her, Lana.
Hey, aren't we all ignoring something very important? I know we had a fun childhood. As much as I'd like to romanticize it like you guys are, it wasn't all great.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt, but I think I was born sometime then. Well, I wouldn't qualify anything our childhood as a dead day, exactly. Not as they became in the future. We're a little bit more fragile than the other kids.
I would hesitate to call us sickly in our childhood, but we did miss a decent amount of school.
Almost every year, sometimes for a week or two at a time.
Oh, wow. I remember there was one year, though, where I think we got perfect attendance. A miracle, surely.
Yeah, we missed school, but it wasn't much more than the average kid.
Maybe it was even less than the average kid.
Our absent days weren't too abnormal for someone with a weak immune system and poor digestion. But back then, we were always on some special diet or some sort of supplemental recommendation by the school nurse. None of them seemed to work. Or if they did work, they'd crap out a few months later, sending us right back to square one.
So, they really were sick. Oh no.
Our parents got frustrated with the whole damn thing and stopped helping us when we were teenagers. That is how I remember them.
Ink.
In grade school and middle school, it wasn't just digestion issues that kept us home from school. We had a lot of fevers, a lot of sore throats and coughs and other things. Again, not so unusual for a child, but the frequency at which we got them was probably on the higher side.
I remember at some point a doctor spitballing that because we were born so early, we had a weaker immune system than most, so we better take care of ourselves.
But the main difference between our flirtations with sickness as a child and with that as an adult is that the sickness was not something that took over our lives. It was something that happened that we got over and never really thought about much.
Interesting. Okay, so this is a completely separate thing. Yeah, we didn't ruminate on it back then.
Everyone gets sick sometimes.
We had long periods of wellness and growth and productivity.
Yeah, I mean, even in the... If the sick days kind of sucked, we could at least play video games and watch the cartoons they show on TV during the day. Even though it was only usually Nick Jr. Fuck it! That was always kind of a treat, you know? Watching the old cartoons we've only got to see during summer break and special occasions. It made those days at home seem not so bad. Even still, like y'all said, we had a pretty normal childhood for the most part and never let the sick days take over our lives.
Oh, have fun at the wedding, Mystery Theater. Bye, thank you so much for coming.
Until they did.
You morons shouldn't equate the sick days of our childhood to all the bullshit that came afterwards.
Yes, I mean, even if we were absent from school a fair amount, it wasn't worth doting on.
It was only in high school where it got bad, I think.
Yeah, it was lucky we even graduated. We were absent so much near the end.
A teacher of ours called it singeritis. If only. Maybe in another dimension.
Well, it was during the start of our senior year that our parents died, wasn't it?
Oh no. Oh no, that's a horrible time for parents. Oh my god. Yeah, it was.
It was really hot and humid that day. Overwhelmingly so. We were coming up from school like always, except the difference was, on that day, our house was up in flames.
They died. They didn't die. Oh my god, they died in a fire? Look at this effect. Wow.
Unless anyone knows anything, my specifics of that time are off. All I can remember are the flames, the crowd of people, the ambulances, not even the funeral.
Oh no. So I guess they never went to college. The only thing I can remember is that we'd not been on the best terms with them at that point in time. But I don't even remember what we've been mad at them for. All I know is that it doesn't matter. Now it's just another added regret to my heart.
I remember the police. No foul play suspected. What a load of crap.
Oh, this is an interesting mystery.
It's not like they had enemies. At least I don't think they did.
I don't know any of the specifics about how they died. But I do remember what we've been arguing about with them in the months before.
Arguing? About what?
Our sickness. This was before it had gotten as severe as it eventually did. But back then we were still fatigued and sick to our stomachs almost every day.
Oh no.
As a result, we missed a lot of days in school that year. Eventually, we were at the point where if we missed more days, we risked not graduating. So our parents forced us to attend class no matter what.
Oh God.
It didn't matter if we were doubled up on the floor. It didn't matter if we'd been up the entire night writhing in pain. They'd yell at us blindly, threaten us to attend class or else.
I see.
They took us to the doctors, of course, initially, as time would prove again and again.
Oh goddamn! Yeah, there's no text. What do you mean, Dwarves and Void Dweller? Wait, what? Oh, I know. Never mind. Sorry, I know what you mean.
Time would prove again and again. Test results came up only as negative for quite some time. IBS, psychosomatic pain disorder, no vitamin deficiencies. Negative.
I know our parents, Liam. They took care of us and sacrificed so much of their own lives to be there for us growing up.
I never said they didn't do that.
I have little doubt that they loved us too. Parenting is hard.
It definitely is.
And the relationship between the parent and child is not completely black or completely white. At this time, they thought what they were doing was best for us. That we'd snap out of it and become stronger as a result. That never happened, of course, and it was the wrong way to go about it, but I truly believe they had good intentions, at least at the start.
I see. I just have all these memories of them telling them they loved us they loved us, and all these other wholesome things.
You say there aren't usually black or white relationships, Neo. Did you forget what comes next?
I remember. We went to live with our aunt after our parents died.
Oh. But they should have been like 18 by then.
That's right. The Queen herself.
But it was only for a few months.
She definitely wasn't a good person. Oh, there's the negative in the here.
She would threaten us even when we were children. She stole some of our inheritance money, I think. It's only later in life we realized that fact. She was also emotionally manipulative.
Well, we eventually emerged from high school. We weren't broken yet. We had hoped that the bad times were behind us, even though the bad times had not begun yet in earnest.
Oh no.
Because of our parents and the insurance, at least we had some money. The money our aunt didn't steal from us.
It was our parents' wish that we go to college, right?
And we did. The shitty community college nearby.
We had the opportunity to go to another college, I think. One that was out of state. Our dream college for our dream major.
I think we were very sick and missed the interview.
Yes. I hated you for doing that, Liam.
So that's why back then you made up that scenario.
Oh wow. Oh my god. So that's what that was about.
Anyway, even if it was a community college, we still moved away from our aunts and stayed with one of our friends from high school.
Well, that's good.
Oh no. Boy, did that turn sour quickly. We made it, what, 3 semesters?
That's around the time when my memories start becoming clearer. I remember standing in line for student registration and not being able to stand up straight.
Oh, wow. I have that too sometimes. That you get overwhelmingly tired for no reason.
I was overwhelmingly tired for absolutely no reason. And the next day I remember being woken up by pain, like 100 needles twisting around the side of my body. I remember our sleep quality suffering, and our grades becoming worse and worse because we were unable to deal with class. We may have had bad days before, but none of the days before this could be considered dead days. Now we are dealing with dead days.
Dead days?
That's right. That's what we call them. An unproductive day of laying in bed. Too sick to move, too sick to do anything, but try to live. It was a day when we might as well have been dead, because we accomplished absolutely nothing of importance. A day playing video games and relaxing wasn't a dead day. A dead day involved nothing but staying in bed, tired out of our mind, barely glancing at our phone. The heat of the room welling up, wishing that we were dead. Dead days were the worst days, and we had years worth of them.
Oh no. Oh yeah. I'm starting to remember some of those dead days, but they blend together. But it wasn't all bad back then, was it?
The dead days were infrequent at the start.
We had some help to deal with things. Yes, a friend from high school.
Yeah, they were our roommate!
A lot of time when we were too sick, they brought us food or water. They really cared for us. They were amazing.
But eventually we became even too much for them. Right?
Yes?
The failing pressure from our grades, our insomnia, our growing inability to get food, our constant lethargy. It all came together to create a perfect mental health meltdown during our second year.
We saw a psychiatrist for the first time, and they prescribed us antidepressants and sleeping pills.
That's right, they tried to shut me up! But you can't shut up, Ink. It only made me stronger.
Unfortunately, while the medications they prescribed worked initially, they eventually pooped out.
Some had bad side effects.
A few were addicting. More of a curse than a blessing. As the years went on, we tried medication after medication in order to control our overwhelmingly negative thoughts. It was too late when we realized later on that a few of these substances may have done permanent damage to our brain.
Oh no.
We made a mistake pushing ourselves through college at that time, as our parents might have made us done. Not pacing ourselves made things much worse overall.
At some point we had to drop out of college and rely on our friends' families for support.
They were awesome!
Yeah, they helped us a lot with food and stuff and encouraged us to seek out more medical care. Yeah, that is a lot like the candy they were using in the tank.
Which we did. We started seeing doctors again and doing various tests. Bloods, neurological, specialized digestive tests. Negative, negative, negative. We were starting to think we were going crazy.
Weren't we, though? A little.
Yes, of course, our body was shutting down. Our mental health was getting worse and worse, and the pills not working made us feel like we were being pushed up against a wall.
Our mental state wasn't good at the time. I'm embarrassed at how we acted in day-to-day situations.
There are different degrees of worthlessness, though.
Yes, soon it got even worse. We had to move out of the dorms after we dropped out of college. I felt like we were being too much of a burden to our friend's family. We got our own apartment in a sketchy neighborhood.
Uh-oh. And this must be around the time where Ank had their memory.
That was all we could afford, living off the tiny bit of money left. For many young adults, getting our own place was seen as a huge accomplishment. For us, though, it took all of our strength to move there, with a ticking time bomb of savings and newly accrued debt. We had a lot of insomnia, and a lot of worries leading up to that day. But once we were there, we resolved ourselves.
That's right. We did it, kid. We are gonna get better. We're gonna protect ourselves.
We're going to get jobs to support us and follow our dreams. We had to get ourselves out of this mess. Get our shit together. Become a functioning member of society, no matter what.
I'm guessing that represented all of them speaking together. And here we go.
Ah, the ceiling. I know it well.
This room.
It's a room we spent a lot of time in.
And the room we suffered the most in. Hot and stuffy room that encompassed our lives for the majority of a decade.
It wasn't supposed to be like this.
Yes? When we first moved in, we made a vow to ourselves, remember?
This is going to be a new chapter in our life. All the pain of the past is gone. The future will be bright. Oh, God. If only we knew how many plateaus of suffering we'd end up reaching from that point onwards.
We tried our best to change our lifestyle. We tried different diets, supplements, herbs, and doctor visits in order to improve our digestion, our energy, and our horribly foggy brain. We tried to take care of ourselves in this room as best we could. There was this list we followed religiously for a while. It wasn't bad advice. Sleep hygiene, eating 3 healthy meals a day, at least a half hour of heart-pumping exercise per day. Although that got harder to do as time went on, as did eating and sleeping. These things, which should have helped us regain our health, became harder and harder to accomplish the sicker we got.
It was around this time where our blood tests started showing signs of illness. It was nothing that the doctors seemed alarmed about. This hospital was overworked. There were a million patients a day, and we're just a lone young man who should have been fine by all rights.
There were good and bad doctors we saw at the time. The good doctors listened to us and communicated with us to try and find a solution. The bad doctors scowled at us, saying stuff like, "I've seen your kind before," and pushed us out of the office as quickly as possible.
For a time, we were diagnosed accordingly with anemia and malabsorption, and low vitamin D, and began supplementing in the hope that things would improve. We followed the orders to a T, but nothing we did had any sort of remarkable change.
And if we complained of our suffering, more psychiatric medicines would be dispensed to us.
We kept trying those too, a lot of them in fact, to mixed in negative results. This specific hospital we attended, started to seem more like a mill every day. We put all our energies into getting doctor's appointments, trying to tell them about how we felt.
We had doctors literally shrugging their shoulders as they began to look at our chart, crowded with tests.
Why couldn't we switch hospitals? Try something new.
I can answer this one. It was plainly put our insurance. That hospital we went to was the only one that the government provided to us. To switch would cost more than we could afford, living off a set amount of money.
In fact, it was at this point where we said, "Screw it! We try to struggle through life anyway in hopes that things will get better. We got a job, which was a lot for someone who got exhausted walking down the street.
This job, like going to school had previously done, only made things worse for us ultimately. We come home from work every single day stumbling in the door like some drunk and immediately fell into bed until our next shift. Sleep, when we could get it, wasn't restful. It was never restful. Even though the job wasn't physical, it was making us exhausted just to walk a couple dozen steps up to the car to the office every day.
We later found out what the term for what we were feeling was, right?
Yes, it was called post-exertional malaise.
Them. It meant that the tasks which most people our age might have found easy exhausted us to an unreasonable degree, and we needed a much longer time to recover.
Just to cope with our resistance, we started taking more of the tranquilizers and narcotic pain medicines prescribed by the doctor. We used them as a means of dulling the pain to the point where we could get through the day. And we never took more than the prescribed dose.
We ended up quitting our job after only a month and a half, not for our safety but for the people around us. Walking, listening to orders, and doing simple tasks was starting to become a challenge. A short car ride to and from the office was starting to become too dangerous to undertake.
As soon as we found ourselves unfit to drive, we stopped. There was no way we were going to risk anyone else's lives for a meaningless one.
We had to quit.
Our boss understood. He was a nice guy, I think.
And anyway, it was only supposed to be a temporary leave until our health was under control.
We tried even harder to get better. After each meal, we had bad reflux, bloating, and to lay down immediately.
Oh God. Oh no, I guess this is how they died.
Then we got up from the bed. We could feel our heart beating rapidly, and this made it very hard to walk without keeling over. We tried once again doing labs, and so we kept getting negative test after negative test back.
As our dizziness worsened, so did our anxiety. Horrible panic attacks became the norm for us.
It was at this point where keeping doctor's appointments became a challenge. Going to them was too taxing for our body and threatened to send us into a terrible stupor.
Oh no.
We started depending on our old roommate more for their help in getting groceries. Even still, preparing the food itself became a challenge, and eating it was a nightmare. Few foods, if any, tended to agree with our stomach. Sometimes nothing would stay down. We were tired and in pain after every meal. We're already on the skinny side, I think. We started losing even more weight. It eventually got to the point where even taking a shower caused us to fumble over. When the pain got really bad, we'd go to the same hospital because that was our only choice. Only one in town that would accept us without charging an arm and a leg. But the thing is, at that point, we probably had to give an arm and a leg for our mind and body to get back to the way they were. The docs would give us some pain meds and fluids and an IV, and then we'd have to leave because they had to assess we weren't in a medical emergency. We began to think we weren't really sick, because none of the tests showed anything serious. Was our illness all in our heads?
Was it?
Let's look at the facts. Food wouldn't stay down, sleep was never restful as it should have been, our mind was in some sort of psychosis, so no, it wasn't completely in our heads, although our mental state wasn't doing us any favors at the time. And besides, sick is sick.
Exactly.
We were quite depressed, though. That part was true enough.
Every single day was a dead day at this point.
God, what a miserable life that their life turned into.
Simple things we took for granted, like getting up to go to the computer, became a luxury. Basic motor functions started to become an issue.
Oh my God, this is how they died?
Light and sound set off our brain, caused us to have a jolting, piercing attack.
Good times.
We couldn't in all good conscience say we were living, but we weren't dead yet either.
It felt like time itself lost its meaning in those days.
Looking back at it through a clearer perspective, I'd like to theorize that our illness was causing some sort of brain inflammation.
We stopped leaving the house at all. Relying on our one friend for grocery support. At one point, we became entirely housebound and partially bedbound.
Oh God.
Eventually, after a long period of struggling, we became entirely bedbound and lost the ability to walk.
Not functioning at a basic level is the scariest thought I can ever imagine.
I felt like we were an old man about to die. We were still in our 20s at that point.
Oh God.
It was pathetic. Our degenerate lifestyle was disgusting. I hated ourselves. Hated everything about ourselves. We had instilled that this illness was all in our heads so much and so often that we couldn't help but hate ourselves.
Still, even when things were so bad we could barely remember our own name, we kept fighting.
We tried experimenting with a lot of meds, prices be damned.
Oh God.
Yes, that's right. Liam would shove meds down my throat all the time.
That's what that was. Oh my God. That's what that opening scene was. But there are still so many questions. Okay. So now we know what happened. But how did they get into intersectional and become axolotls and get separated?
He'd force all those goddamn pills on me. One after another. Some of them would make me not enjoy anything at all.
Some of them helped, didn't they?
Not to the point where you felt anywhere near better or functional. I hated you for it. If you weren't sick, then I wouldn't have to deal with a diet of those shitty pills, day in and day out. Our quality of life was a sick fucking joke, and I was so angry at you for making it worse.
Liam seems to be the main one. Because Alan was very sick.
We tried to get better by your call, and fuck all that you gave us. I was tired of you feeding me those damn pills. It was horrifying for me. I just wanted to be out of pain, no matter what. And do that. There was only one final solution. I had to take control of this ship. Suppress the rest of you. There was only one way you could get out of this pain.
I wasn't looking forward to getting to this part. But Hank, even if you wanted us to die, you never did it out of malice, right? Oh God, this is how they died. You didn't hate anyone else, did you? You really didn't hate us either. You just hated what we had become at that point. Oh God, what a miserable life.
At the time, suicide felt like the only rational thing. I was so disgusted by what we become that I couldn't stand us.
I still had hope that we could have good days.
I remember why I hated you so much, Axie. Hated seeing you, that annoying kid we once were, without a care in the world. I was so disgusted to be seen in your presence.
You were jaded.
Well, whatever the case, I wanted us out of pain.
We're approaching a period I don't think I have any memories of, and I've been pretty on top of things so far. Was that because of what our brain was going through, or...?
It's because I took over as our primary form of consciousness, and I wasn't playing around anymore. We had almost no friends. We were losing more and more of our cognitive abilities every single day. We were in pain from the moment we woke up to the few moments of the day where we slept an hour or two of crappy sleep. In my mind, we were already dead. The experience of taking mind-altering pills and being unable to enjoy anything was too hard on me. Nothing was pleasurable, and nothing could make us feel any emotions other than pain. One time I tried to leave the house for some groceries. We got dizzy on the way there. Fell down on the sidewalk and couldn't get up for over 10 minutes.
Someone should have called the ambulance.
Whenever we thought things had gotten bad, there was always deeper trouble waiting ahead.
A deeper rock bottom, huh?
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Soon we'd lose our voice. Oh no! Oh god. Everything just gets worse. What a miserable life.
The doctors would put us on a feeding tube, and we'd scrounge our last remaining dollars for a caregiver. That's if we were lucky and didn't just die alone in our stuffy, shitty apartment due to malnutrition. To prevent future suffering, I just wanted it to end.
I'm assuming this takes place in the... Given that Alan was a 90s kid, I'm guessing that this takes place in the 2000s. Or 2010s. Early 2010s, probably. Or at least Alan's life did.
Everything had reached an all-time low. So one night, that last night, I decided to make us crawl out of our house. It was going to end. We'd had a 2-week stint at a mental hospital 2 years prior, and we're heading down that kind of road again. But I wasn't gonna let that happen. We needed medical care, but that busy hospital would have been too much simulation for our fried up nervous system. Each step outside of our apartment, if you could even call it that, was agonizing. We were neither high nor drunk. We quit the medications, but looking at our malnourished, skinny ass struggle through the streets, I wouldn't blame anyone for thinking otherwise. The world was blurry and distorted, but I knew exactly where we had to go. There was a big building nearby that was open 24 hours. I don't know why, but there was no security guard on duty that day, so we were free to take the elevator all the way to the top floor.
Oh no. And this is how it happened.
As we curled up in front of that corner of the elevator on the floor, we started to cry. Not from sadness, but happiness. It was finally time for us to be out of pain. Did you know how relieving that feeling was? No more endless torture ahead. But as we stood inches away from our release, I just couldn't do it after all.
They didn't.
I thought how shitty it would be for the workers finding our body in the morning. What did they do to deserve that? I didn't want to get anyone else involved in my issues. I couldn't even do one simple thing. How much of a coward was I? You guys stopped me at that time, didn't you?
No, you had too much power at that point. We couldn't stop you. You stopped yourself. All we did was remind you about the promise.
Yeah, that damn promise.
Promise? That's the first time I'm hearing about any promise.
You were a part of it too, Axie. We all were.
I don't remember either. What did we promise?
That night wasn't the first night of that sort. Dark thoughts had nagged at us for years. So to combat them before things ever got out of hand, we made a promise. A promise just to ourselves, that we would never break. If the disease wants to kill us, fine. If some other force beyond our control wants to kill us, so be it. But we would never.
Now I remember! We won't give up!
Yes, we'll fight against our illness with everything we can.
I promise. No matter how bad it gets, I'll never kill myself. Oh, thank God. But then how did they die? If I die, then there won't be any good times ahead.
It was crazy because at the time it felt more logical to get out of the pain rather than spend time fighting against it. But we never killed ourselves, despite not being comfortable in our own skin.
Living felt like a mistake. After that night, things got even worse for a while. I cursed you all for stopping me that night, for reminding me of that promise.
But the bad times did not last forever. I'm glad we held on.
Because of that promise, we held on suffering. Because we held on suffering, we were eventually able to find happiness again.
Really? Oh, wow. Really? Oh, thank God. Really? I thought it was gonna end there.
Almost 6 months after that day on the roof. We're snuggled in bed during one of our good days, mindlessly watching videos online.
And that's when we saw something inconsequential. A video that made us laugh.
We hadn't had a real belly laugh in so long, so this was a welcome surprise.
It was a small thing, but it reminded us that we were human after all.
That great belly laugh for just a moment made us forget all the pain that had been bearing down on us so much. What was it that made us laugh so much exactly?
Well, it was the kind of video anyone might see on the internet.
That dumb video was a gateway into something that transformed our life.
On the screen was two people talking in a virtual world using user-created avatars.
Oh my god, the game! The way they move their hands in the game. It was the same way people move their hands in real life. Something about the absurd nature of that interaction and the atmosphere in that scene was bewitching. So naturally we looked up the name of the game. Oh my, it was VR chat? Oh, it was a VR chat type of thing.
It was a new social game made for use with a virtual reality headset.
The VR headset!
We hadn't realized how far virtual reality had come as a technology, that even regular consumers could own them. But they were expensive. Much too expensive for us to afford. Aside from all that, you needed a nice PC as well. But that game we saw, there was a catch. It was free to play and supported regular desktop users using a keyboard and mouse.
So yeah, it was VR chat.
We decided to give it a go, despite not enjoying much of anything for a long, long time. Little did we know that playing that stupid game would change our lives. We genuinely thought it was all over for us.
All over us beforehand. I think all over for us. I think that's a typo.
We generally thought it was all over for us beforehand. The only thing left to do in life was suffocate slowly. But we booted up the game and sat there.
Even though we weren't comfortable moving yet. Even though we hadn't changed out of the default avatar the game assigned us.
We made a friend, didn't we? I'm starting to remember now. That friend brought us to a different world. A space world. Talked to us like we were a person. Eventually, we had a whole group of friends we met through the game.
At first, we could only play for an hour a day. Because anything more than that was too overwhelming.
But soon we could play 2 hours, 3 and 4 and even more. For the first time in a long time, things started to get better and better, didn't they? And our new friends would sometimes stream the game online too. So when we were laid up in bed, we could watch them on our phone too.
Oh, wow.
Playing this game was one of the more positive parts of our life, even after getting ill.
Anyway, as our relationship with the crook grew deeper, we managed to get more confidence and opened up to one of our friends. This friend listened to us without judgment.
And they accepted us, warts and all.
It made us feel loved for the first time in a long time. We went on more adventures in the game.
And while we still had horrible days, we felt that life was not an unending nightmare anymore. As a suggestion of one of our friends, we also did some deeper research into the symptoms of our illness. It was shocking to find tens of thousands, if not millions of people out there had a similar set of symptoms and experiences that we had, all across the world.
Neglected or pushed off by certain doctors, with hard to diagnose symptoms and a slew of negative tests.
Some were even worse off than we were. The most striking similarity between us all was the lack of quality of life.
This horrible illness that caused people to lose their jobs, lost their energy, and in some cases lost their lives actually had a name.
Oh, wow. Here we go. It's a real disease, I think.
Myalgic myelitis. Me. Otherwise known as chronic fatigue syndrome. We connected with a new community of people affected by the disease, many of whom struggle to do even the most basic tasks.
Oh my god. Wow. Are they actually going to get better? But then what happened in the end? Oh god.
Though you were during the holidays, one of the nicest things that's ever happened to us, remember? In the game with our friends?
We'd slowly transitioned from being completely mute to typing to eventually using our microphone. The last step to becoming fully immersed in the game was out of financial reach. It would be irresponsible to use the money our parents gave us on something other than necessities, since we couldn't earn money on our own. But that holiday, a couple of our friends, well, needless to say, they surprised us. They had never met us in real life. They had no idea if we told them about ourselves were true or false. And yet they pulled together some money for us to get better computer supplies and a virtual reality headset. Came in the mail, and for a second, I thought there might have been a mistake. We were shocked, obviously.
Generally, it was hard for us to accept a present, because we viewed ourselves as worthless.
Oh, it's definitely a thing. Yeah, I've definitely heard of chronic fatigue. Yeah, absolutely. Apparition.
It was just about the best present we could have asked for at the time.
To this day, even now in whatever place this is, it's still one of the most meaningful gifts I've ever received.
We could now experience worlds that weren't our own. Looking in a virtual mirror, we could imagine anything. We could be anyone, and go to places we couldn't have imagined before.
But the true power and magic of VR was doing all those things socially.
With this technology, you didn't need to be in the same room as others to interact with them. Eventually, the first time in God knows how long, we started falling asleep with good thoughts in our mind, excited for the adventures to come the following day. Even if those adventures were virtual, it didn't matter.
Hey, kid. The VR helmet we found in the tank. It was under a lamb's rock. Is that?
It's got to be why. A couple of things are starting to make sense. I think there are still more answers to uncover.
For the next year or so, we were steadily full of improvements to our well-being. For the first time in a long time, we were distracted from our illness. That distraction helped us to focus. Began documenting our symptoms in a personal journal.
In a notebook.
Yeah, we researched academic publications and jotted down things we could do to try and improve our physical and mental health in a notebook. Our energy, our mood, our sleep, and most importantly, our digestion all seemed to improve.
For a time.
Yeah, but we can't focus on just the sad things that happened. We might have done that in the past. But to do so now, after experiencing happiness again, just feels wrong.
That year of improvement didn't send us back to normal. Not even close. But any sort of improvement was a big step forward. It's only small things at first. Our energy was limited. So we decided to use it economically for stuff that made us feel good. Like taking care of our hygiene. Follow our own schedule. Made sure to do our own laundry and even cook if we're feeling up to it. Our goal was to depend less on our old friend. We had to open up the windows in our room for a few minutes each morning. Although the sun was initially harsh due to our compromised system, we worked our way through it. And eventually, we started going outside to take walks. We're not taking epic multi-hour long walks. It was merely taking a few minutes to walk down the street. Trying not to be dizzy, trying not to have a panic attack. Our ultimate goal in doing this was to be able to go to the grocery store on a regular basis. And sometimes on nights when we'd have good rest and our body wasn't in searing pain, we could walk down the 2 blocks to the grocery store and come home with a small basket of food.
This didn't happen consistently.
Sometimes we had horrible panic attacks on the way there and had to turn back, hoping we wouldn't plant our face in the concrete as we had before. But compared to our previous state, this was a major improvement.
Even if it was only through a few things, we felt like we had our independence back.
And with this encouragement, we started to push towards a positive mindset.
One of the most productive steps we've ever made was forgiving ourselves for being so sick.
It's important to have realistic expectations of what you can and can't do in life.
We had realistic expectations for our life before it all turned to shit. The ability to work for ourselves, to think for ourselves, and at some point we wanted to have enough money to eventually travel. Living in this room forever wasn't the plan.
We loved Encinas, but our bad experience here clouded the city. Wouldn't it be nice to start over somewhere new? VR was a great escape, but it wasn't real life. We wanted to know what it'd be like to experience new cultures, try different foods, and see in real life the kind of places we never thought we could see. There's no law against streaming. A normal life, coming home and spending time with the family.
Happiness.
Our mind wouldn't let that fantasy run very far, because it wasn't possible. To make a family would require meeting new people. We didn't think it was fair to expect someone to spend their lives together with us if we couldn't take care of ourselves.
I think that's wrong, Ink. I think it was still possible for us to meet new friends even in our state. We had that advantage of being born at a time when the internet was a thing. And besides, no shame in dreaming about those things. I began to get excited for the future as well. In October, the Encinos World's Fair was to be held, an event which only happened once each decade.
I don't think that's a real thing. I do know that World's Fair was a thing, like in the 60s and stuff like, and like 50s and like 20s and stuff like that. But I don't think that I don't think that's a real thing.
World's friend group from when we were kids contacted us and asked if we wanted to meet up there as a little reunion. We're getting to the point where going out in public for an extended period of time felt like it could be a real possibility. The old friends had mostly moved away from the small town of Encinos in search of wider pastures. It was a rare opportunity to see them once again.
But as the date of the fair got closer, our symptoms started to flare. We hadn't gotten over our eating problem, and one wrong food would send us into a terrible spiral, resulting in total exhaustion.
We didn't sleep all
too great in the week leading up to the fair.
The bad sleep in turn affected our fragile nervous system and anxiety.
I'm not that old, Void Dweller.
We had hyped ourselves up so much for our event, meeting our friends, and getting out of our dingy apartment. It didn't feel right to cancel it, though.
Oh no. Did they die here? In retrospect, we should have just told them we weren't feeling good.
We tried, but didn't really get the point across. They didn't know how sick we had become. I remember being so nervous the night before about everything. The Uber ride there, walking around a vast amount of people, eating new food.
Oh, interesting. You're allowed to talk about the brand Uber. Interesting that, but not the other brands.
The next morning, with no sleep, we headed off.
We were delusional to think we could attend something like that by ourselves.
When we exited the car, the first thing we did find is a bench to sit down. And then it all hit us at once. The amount of people passing by. The heat, the loud voices, our weak legs, our labored breath, our blurry vision, our foggy mind, our shaking hands. If this kept up, we knew that it would result in something horrible, like a seizure. And so, with our mind racing and our head feeling like it was about to burst, we called a ride home. We didn't see anything but the very outskirts of the fair. We certainly never met with our old friends. About 3 hours later, laying on the bed, out of breath, feeling numb and tired, we sent them a message that we wouldn't be able to make it. Then we turned off our phone, tried our best to endure the hell our body was giving us for the next 12 hours.
At some point, when we turned our phone back on, we were bombarded with messages.
Oh, another typo here. Where are you? We're waiting. Did we get the place right? Hey, are you okay? What the hell, man? Where are you?
It looked like the message we sent them didn't go through. We apologized. The whole situation was irresponsible of us, and we were embarrassed. We spent the next few days in a haze, unable to go on the computer, spending our time dealing with pain. We eventually went back on the computer to talk to our online friend group we met in VR. It felt like something had changed. Only a few members of the group were online. For us, it was an incredibly close group, but they had started to splinter. Real-life obligation had become too much for them.
Yeah, that happens, sadly.
As they were caught up with their own things, we didn't talk to them much in the next few months. Everything crept up on us once again. Our mental state was getting worse, and all of our terrible symptoms were flaring in full force. None of this should have mattered. We felt like we were taking ourselves too seriously. As we had started going to the supermarket on our own, we stopped relying on our family friend as much. And they hadn't talked to us much either. We felt ashamed being so miserable all the time. We just had to get over ourselves. It just didn't feel right to talk to our online friends only when we were miserable, which was all the time now. So I just decided to keep our distance for the moment.
And since food, even safe foods, were starting to make us sick, we stopped eating.
This is where time stops for me yet again. Things are very foggy and my memory is fragmented. I remember dry heaving into a bag next to our bed.
I remember wanting to get water, but being too weak to stand up.
I remember a lot of confusion.
I remember our stomach, despite not eating, being inflated and bloated. Our image when we looked into the mirror was that of a pregnant skeleton.
Oh God. For some reason, like, the stomach bloats when you're, like, when people are truly starving. Oh my God. They are severely malnourished.
Every inch, every single fiber of our body ached incredibly. For a long time. All of this and more.
How many times have we gone this shitty merry-go-round of suffering? Getting sicker, getting slightly better, having hope, give it all crushed down again.
Nothing is forever, Ink. There's an end to everything. I remember a light.
Me too. An annoyingly bright light. Her head went thump, thump, thump. Couldn't speak.
Somehow we weren't as much pain as before. That was due to the meds they injected into us every hour.
In the hospital. They're in the hospital.
The doctors and nurses mumbled when they talked.
Seizures, septic shock, malnutrition, kidney dysfunction, traumatic brain injury. Traumatic brain injury!
So many words were being thrown everywhere. It was all a bother. We had so many tests before, and the doctors had told us nothing was wrong with us so many times.
So what was happening?
Our confusion was so great that we didn't have the ability to process everything. All we knew was that the hospital lights were too bright, the place was too loud, constant blood tests were too annoying.
We learned fragments about our situation. Our old friend was the one who found us in some awful state and called the ER. We didn't know how much time had passed. The main thing killing us was something called sepsis.
Oh, God.
None of you guys remember much after this, right?
This must be where they died.
Not me.
Or me.
You see, this was what I was afraid of. Our body being in so much agony and discomfort that we reach an even lower state. It's just like RB said, there are an infinite number of rock bottoms. The rest of our life was short and miserable. And devoid of the things that made us feel human in the first place. Personality and pleasure. How absolutely disgusting of us.
And then they just died like this? How cruel. This is like some freaking witch level cruelty to give Alan hope and then just snatch it away from them. Like with the virtual reality. Oh, God. That is just sadistic cruelty of whoever. Oh.
That's not true. I think there's more good that happened to us. The person who found us was our old friend from childhood. The one who stuck by us for so long. I think she visited us often in these final days. She wanted to be a marine biologist, remember? When we were all in the hospital, she sent us a cute gif on her phone. Of what? An axolotl.
Is that why they became axolotls?
She used to show us this funny gif on her phone of an axolotl sitting in the tank, opening its mouth and reacting chilly to a food flake. The axolotl was so dopey that it made us laugh.
Is that why they're axolotls in the next life?
Don't you guys remember? I think maybe she had showed us that gif before the hospital, too. It was her favorite thing to show people because of how cute it was. She would talk at great lengths about axolotls, about their incredible regeneration powers, how scientists were studying them for stem cell research, their incredible resistance to diseases like cancer, and how they were almost extinct as well. We were fascinated too. To us, these silly creatures seemed almost mythical. Her obsession must have been contagious.
We fantasized. Wish we could regenerate ourselves like an axolotl could. So is this why they were made axolotls in this next life? We put all of our soul into that delusion. And I guess it came true in a sort of roundabout way.
The doctors couldn't do much to fix our poisonous blood. It was too late.
How did someone so young get into such a state? What was the cause?
Our body was so messed up that it even rejected IV nutrients. The specialist looking at our long history of tests finally concluded that perhaps an unknown autoimmune illness had been slowly wreaking havoc on our bodies for years. I think at the very end, we were finally diagnosed with something. It did little good to be diagnosed so late, though.
Oh my God.
But those last days weren't terrible. After talking with our friend, I think we had managed to ever so slightly climb up from our biggest rock bottom yet. We died with the thought of axolotls in our mind. We're invisible to the world for a long time while we were alive.
The saddest part to me is not even our own death, but the fact that there were, as we learned, countless others in pain whose quality of lives got cut short due to illness.
I see. So that was our life before the tank.
Hey, Hank. I'm glad I met you again.
Look. Oh, you dorks. But especially you, Leon.
I'm sorry I hated you so much. It wasn't any of your faults that we ended up the way we did. even after everything is said and done. I'm proud that we kept on trying for good health, instead of giving up and going down the path I wanted. The good times were worth the amount of pain.
Wow. That was a lot to take in. How do you guys feel? Well, I hope now that Alan is split into 5 different personalities, people, like, maybe this will be their chance to do everything. After all, they spent years and years being happy now, like in the fantasy world and in the tank. That was a lot to take in. How do you guys feel?
I can only speak for myself, but I feel great!
What? Even after all these years, you still find a way to surprise me, Axie. Didn't our suffering affect you at all?
Of course it did. That was sad, dude. But now it's over. Being in all that pain for all that time, dealing with all that anxiety, is, well, there is no question that it sucked. But all this happened before our current life. Even if it wasn't as an axolotl, the tank was a tremendous amount of fun.
Alright, so now we're caught up. There's maybe a half hour left to the act. I will definitely see it through, Apparition.
I don't know if we're living, technically. Right now I don't feel any pain. The only thing I'd regret is if we stopped fighting, like, anxious, sad. But we didn't even at the very end. I choose to move on from what we saw.
I want to move on too, but I refuse to ignore all the sickness completely. If I could, I'd want to help people who are in a similar situation. Show them that there is hope. I know how special a simple act such as walking down the street can be for someone who's in a dire state of mind. I want to be happy and cherish each moment that I'm not in pain. And if I get in pain again, I'll search for a way out. It's that simple. How are you doing, Lana? You asked about us, but I want to know how you're taking it.
Well, it's as you said. There were a lot of hardships. But I think we still had plenty of great moments before getting sick that kind of got glossed over.
That's right. Life is much more than the sum of its parts.
Like Liam just said, I'd like to help people as well if I got the chance.
Well, ain't that just like the lot of us? A few of us want different things, and yet somehow I can see all our ideals coexisting at the same time. That's what it must be like to be whole. Probably a different personality emerges from that altogether.
I would imagine.
So, Neo, what's your take?
I accept what we just saw as the truth, more or less. A lot of it I told you guys from my own mouth. I'd rather look at all of this through a new perspective. A lot of our obsessions that were a part of our personalities initially in the tank, such as mine to get home, make all the more sense. And Ink, why so long ago you want to kill Liam so badly? That should be obvious too. But, you know, still a good many things that don't make sense. Why are we here? Who is RB? Why is this whole what is this whole roundabout game? What with that tank, our essences as he puts it? This whole thing. What comes next?
Yeah, exactly.
I think we'll find out shortly. Me and Ink had lived an entirely different world and resorted for a while now. We sought out a kindred spirit and introduced them to RB.
They did? Oh, wow. Hell yeah. Alright, where are we going with this forward? Why is RB gathering, like, do they get special abilities from having used to be one person?
RB is gathering up a similar class of people. I'm not sure against who exactly are the details, but I think he means war.
Let's head back then. I'm not satisfied just learning about our old life. It's time for Rock Bottom to tell us everything once and for all.
That sounds like it's the end of the act. But,
Huh, you're back. It seems waiting for the five of you together was the correct path after all. Your essences are in pristine condition and none of them have shattered. This is wonderful news.
Wonderful news, you say?
Yes. I am supremely satisfied with all the progress we've made thus far. It's a little hard not to get excited at the prospect of your five essences combining into one again. You will become my anchor back to Encinos.
what? Wait, what? But how is RB gonna use them to get to the human world?
I've had too many failures recently.
What? And why do you need to go back to Encinos?
In preparation for the war, I've scoured so many territories and recruited so many individuals from your town.
What's so special about the town? This is so crazy. This is going all out. Like, other stories would have ended, like, right there. And, like, have them wake up from a coma for something. Or something, but, like, oh my god, I gotta see where this fucking goes. Seriously.
I've split and rejoined many essences, most of them resulting in permanent death.
Whoa! Whoa!
So many personal realities were duds. However, there are others like yourselves, a few in number, which show promise.
Promise for what?
A few blooming flowers in a garden of rotting, mold-infested filth.
My god, has he been just taking souls, like, that have been through suffering and misery? For, like, what is his goal? Is he evil or good?
I shall have 3 full essences under my control as we begin the timeline anew. Yes, I can feel our affinity growing, even as we speak.
I don't understand. Our affinity? I can't say I've known you for very long, RB, but you don't strike me as the divinely benevolent type. Nonetheless, we've been under your control for God knows how long now. I think I speak for all of us when I say it's time for you to fess up and stop all your damn cryptic riddles.
Hank and Liam should know all about riddles. That's how they recruited someone from the kingdom.
They recruited someone from the kingdom?
Are you sure you don't want to take a breather first?
No!
I am aware of how taxing looking at one's past is. I'll be the one to initiate the reset when it happens, so we can make sure you at your full potential. Make sure you at your full potential before this.
This section seems to have a lot of grammatical errors. You are at your full potential before that point. I'm not tired if you guys aren't.
I'm in an uncovering truth sort of mood right now. Ain't that right, you guys?
I'm eager as well to learn why Alan was sent here, and why we had to leave the Kingdom of Glass.
Yeah, buddy. You better tell us the truth. I'll leave you cruising for a bruising.
Mr. Bracket Boy, sir.
We need to know what will become of ourselves of Alan.
Let me clear up a misconception. Although you originate from one essence, each of you right now are you truly your own entities.
I thought so. Yeah, I thought so.
But it is possible for you 5 to rejoin again.
Do they even want to?
That is the only way you'll become Alan once more.
But do they want to?
When the time is right, I plan to do just that. But I need your word they will serve me beforehand.
But do they even want to become one?
What? Do I need to repeat myself? How are we supposed to know what we're serving if you won't even tell us who you are?
You will get your information shortly. But I am letting you know the end goal of our engagement.
I don't really dig the idea of serving someone. What if we refuse you?
It will be a terrible shame, of course, but I will allow it. You will join the great shoal of souls around you, forever floating through intersectional. For all intents and purposes, you will cease to exist. Your personality as Alan no more than echoes in the minds of the few who knew you when you were alive. Even then, Encinos may not last much longer. That is why this is so important.
Me and Liam met so many people in the Kingdom of Glass. What about them?
Well, they'll remember you too, of course. As long as I'm able to keep my territory there.
I hope this doesn't come off as selfish, but I don't want our journey to come to an end here. I feel like knowing what we know now, we haven't even begun to realize our full potential truly.
Potential. Yes, that is good, Lana.
But I don't know about fighting in a war.
The war is merely what I have dubbed my conflict. Rest assured that it will not be the kind of fighting which comes to mind in most wars.
Really?
Probably, anyway.
Probably. Oh god. What the fuck is happening?
Not if we can contain the threat. You should know that siding with me could potentially create more pain and suffering than you've ever experienced in your short life. Remember, each individual's rock bottom is different, and there is no true limit or bottom to suffering, really. An even lower plateau is always possible. But so is the chance at happiness. Going back to your old existence and righting what was wrong. If you do experience an even harsher existence, I promise you that I will try my best to harness that energy positively. Your life was a hard one by conventional first world standards, but many throughout history have lived much crueler lives, filled with disease and abuse and torture. There are many undeveloped countries in your world where mass quantities of people are still suffering, in the worst way imaginable. I cannot control their essences, but if I could, perhaps there would be no use for you here. Why should it be a contest for who suffers the most? What is the point of that?
Yeah, that's right. It's not really fair to compare suffering. Everyone handles stuff in different ways.
It is for me. Because you see, I am rock bottom itself, and my suffering is still going on. I will tell you some of the information you want to know now, but you will have to follow me to my office. We are not heading far, but as a word of caution, do not let go of my energy as we cross. A lone essence intersectional is good as dead in most cases. That is what they want for us. They want everyone to become this worthless filth around you. Who is they? Come with me and I will explain everything.
God damn it, what is going on?
It won't be long now. Seeing the office of a territory lord is somewhat of a rare thing, even for those who have gone through similar events the five of you have.
There's a square.
You can open your eyes now. We've arrived. Welcome to my reality. To my reality. Welcome to the office of a territory lord.
Oh my god! Look at all these universes!
Please, for your own safety, do not go wandering off. Your physical forms cannot sustain themselves well enough in intersectional. Not yet, anyway.
Yo, RB, this place is huge! I'm talking at least 15 football fields huge. Maybe more, even.
Yeah, and quite pretty too. I've always been fond of the stars, but I never thought I'd actually get to see them in person.
You say you live in this place, RB? All alone? Live might not be the right word, but I do dwell... I do dwell in here when there is progress to be made.
He said it. He said it.
It is where I work.
Yeah. This place is great and all, but unlike those chumps,
I'm not distracted by parlor tricks. You said you'd explain all your cryptic bullshit. So go on. Explain everything! Now!
As soon as Neo is ready.
Alright, Neo, what do you...
He's probably fascinated by all this.
Why are you so focused on that shape to the left?
Neo? You can't look away, can you? I think I understand.
Hey, Cat, is that really...
I think it is.
It's the tank. Yep.
What is our tank doing here?
Yep, it's a pocket universe.
How astute. I'm glad you recognized it so quickly. I know every square inch of the tank, as does Axie and Lana. Even if it looks a little cloudy from here. All of my territories, possible recruits, and projects are gathered along this wall. Do not mistake that square for your tank, not in the literal sense. There is much you don't understand about how my kind works. But for the sake of swiftness, I suppose you'd call this representation of your tank something akin to a live hologram.
I see.
Is the kingdom around here as well? Somewhere, yes. The kingdom of glass is a classic territory, known by all of my race as a good starting point. It was not an arbitrary decision to send you there, you know. I see you can still not take your eyes off the tank, Neo, even though there are so many wonders just outside of your view. I'm curious. Do you wish to be fully formed that badly? I expect that you'll see the waters again one last time, for you all form into one single essence. Say that I split you into only 5 is wrong.
Wait, RB split them?
The tank is a part of your greater self too. A part without emotions, to be sure, but an important part nonetheless. You cannot form into one essence again without being inside the tank. You say that we'll go back there? Yes, that is the plan. Tank is a small, fragile, and temporary reality, much like yourselves. If all goes accordingly, you'll bring your experiences in the tank and the kingdom with you in whatever form you shall take in the future. And what form is that exactly? A weapon.
What?
You will be a powerful weapon, under my control. I have earned that right, because I saved your lowly essence from an unfortunate fate. Because you and I, we have affinity with one another.
RB.
I don't follow. I know you want us under your control, but as a weapon? Yes, a weapon in order to help beat them. I'm so glad that you're here. The closer you are to me, the further you're away from them. I was afraid they might have had agents in the kingdom, but thankfully none showed themselves.
It's the eye.
Why do you want to get away from whoever you're talking about?
Come closer, all of you. To learn about him, you need to learn about me.
Ooh, there's RB. A glowing, shadowy eye creature.
Hopefully this little briefing will clear up any misconceptions about you, how you ended up here. Originally, you come from a reality called Earth. A reality revolving around the sentient beings known as humans. Territory lords can, sometimes, with a powerful great enough affinity, create personal realities for those who may become potential minions.
Oh, I love this fucking lore. I love it. I love this lore.
There are many realities out there, all across the sectional. It is wider and grander than you can ever imagine.
This is literally the freaking fifth dimension world from freaking Umineko. Oh my god. I love this. I love this. RB is a witch. He totally is. But what is he the witch of, I wonder?
wider and grander than you could ever imagine. There are even Earths which are parallel to the one you inhabited before you came here. For example, our observer, LHC, comes from one of those parallel realities.
Wait, hold on. This is really confusing. Who the heck is LHC? Are they the one we should be wary of?
No.
Woo! Yay, I'm not the villain.
Perhaps I should not overload you with such information. Let's start with who I am first. You want to know about me, don't you? Who I am and what I want?
Clearly.
My name is RB, and I'm a being known as a Territory Lord. There are many Territory Lords out there, each with a different purpose, inhabiting different territories, using various minions for different means.
Daredevil. Interesting.
My friend Daredevil, for example, deals with essences who frequently blur the line between life and death.
I see. Oh my god. Oh wow. So this is so cool. Yeah. Oh wow. And Rock Bottom would be the one who deals with essences that like have hit like literally like a depth, you know, like hit the rock bottom of their lives.
Time Sink gives power to those who invested much of their lives into activity that never paid off for them.
This is so cool.
There are others too, of course.
Yeah. Hey, RB.
Hi, RV. Hey, who's that? Hey, who's that little axolotl? She sounds a lot like me. He sounds a lot like me. What in the world? What in the world? Hey, hi.
All right, Lammy, come on, let's get out of here. This is gonna be way too confusing without sprites.
Bye. Bye.
There are others too, of course, ignoring those. Intruders. Unrequited, selfless, vanity, grudge, reclaimed.
They're interesting. There's a finite amount.
The list goes on and on. There are a finite amount of us. 29 at all. Territory Lords exist wherever there is sentient life. We are real, of course, but due to our nature being outside the general time flow, we are not known by many. The experiences and stories of essences across realities give power to their universal concepts, which you could say is our manifestation. We are not totally omnipresent, but we do have certain abilities. A few of those abilities may even benefit you 5 in the near future. As Rock Bottom, I deal with you creatures whose identity are defined by their lowest points.
Yep.
There's a certain word you should know that's important between all Territory Lords and their minions. Affinity. I have affinity with you lot in some way, shape, or form, which is why I was able to bring your essence back. But please, do not make the common mistake of minions and get affinity confused with empathy.
Clearly.
If a Territory Lord has a certain affinity with an essence, well, under certain circumstances, we can bestow a certain amount of power on them.
It's literally a warlock pact. It's a warlock pact.
In my case, the lower point I feel someone's reached, the more power I can give them.
Badass.
But Territory Lords has limits too.
Yeah, just like Burncastle and Erica.
We must hedge our bets carefully. Decide if we want to invest our resources in.
Yeah, this is literally like, this is a warlock and their patron.
As the name implies, Territory Lords have places as well where we and our minions are more powerful.
And that's why he wants Encinos.
Places that are essentially ours, where other Territory Lords aren't often welcome if not allied. Your tanks, certain areas of the Kingdom of Glass,
This office and many other areas under my territory where my power thrives. The hometown where you were born, Encinos, is not one of my territories.
Really?
Encinos is a disputed land, does not yet belong to one single territory lord. You could even say that Encinos is the reason I sought you out in the first place.
That's why he came to them specifically. Because they were the one who had reached the most rock bottom in that entire town. Oh. And thusly, he could give the most power to them. I see.
Oftentimes, territory lords will vie for power, resulting in conflicts. You may have been born in a peaceful place in a peaceful era, but do not doubt a war is in bringing out the shadows.
So that's what you meant by war.
I wonder which territory lord you're fighting against. It's gotta be the Eye.
A squabble between you gods?
It's much more than that, Neo. The fate of everything is on the line.
Let me get this straight. Our experiences in life, they're going to allow you to give us power. But was there nobody else in our world you could use?
I think it's because he wanted Encinos. And they were the worst, you know, quote unquote, in Encinos.
I have many candidates in many worlds, but in yours, very few. There were other candidates I considered from Encinos, of course. There are many others who had suffered just as much, if not more than you. But the rest of your Earth was off limits. It is possible ever to take essences from other realities and insert them into Encinos. And in fact, I may just do that in the near future. Having you as a native helped me to set an anchor in that time period. All goes according to plan, you will be useful in more ways than one. In the sense of selection, however, you are only one of a few options in that town. Other territory lords are preparing agents to go there as well.
This is so cool.
Once we initiate the plan, it might become quite crowded in your small town, with great quantities of minions from various territory lords.
This is so badass. So they're gonna be like fighting it out for control? Oh my god, so that town is gonna become like a battlefield.
But why is the town of Encinos so special? Thanks to a certain individual.
Oh my god.
It's been designated as the one place where most territory lords will soon unite, and war will break out. And I mean to send you back there.
Well, go back? I could really go back?
Those days, the ones you call dead days. Those days of your past are where my power will shine. Even the ones from your early youth. Because of your lack of input on those days, I may be able to rewrite time and send you back. That is a big if, though. There may be grave danger. Even if I am able to bestow amount of power to you as Alan. The greatest affinity I have my essence is when they reach a low point, but never give in completely to dying. As I told Enk once before, most essences do not interact with territory lords directly. When you died and came into my possession, I examined your essence and came to the conclusion that you would be a good minion.
But why were they separated into 5?
I split your essence into 5 parts. 6 if you count the enclosed reality of your tank, attempted to guide you through those few times you ventured out into sectional. Liam and Enk ended up here first. They had the 2 parts of Alan who were the most in conflict with each other. Thought it important that they spend some time together. That's one hell of an idea for a bonding exercise.
So let me get this straight. You put us into the tank, erase our memories, and just hope for the best? That's right. That's all I can do unless you seek me out yourselves. You should have seen for yourself how foggy my view of your tank was. I could not directly view the inside contents. When you'd all live fulfilling lives, I knew eventually you'd come through the void. The void is partly a doorway to intersectional. Intersectional is where all essences go when they die. But for territory lords and those with enough resolve and power not to be ingested by it, intersectional is a seemingly infinite highway which connects every reality. So that message in my journal from the beginning, you wrote that to prepare us for this, I guess. What about all those items that used to come through the void? The books and the other weird messages. The books and items from the void were a subconscious desire granted by your tank. But what messages do you speak of?
Oh my god. So other territory lords.
I did send 2 messages initially, but then I had to leave you to your own devices so the tank became your own, closed off. It's not as there was some grand correspondence between us. Wait, hold on. What about the items? Why'd they stop? What'd you say? During the early days, there were various items, mostly books, that came through the void. Eventually, they just kind of stopped coming in. That is troubling. The items should not have stopped.
Yep.
That would mean something was someone messing with my territory.
Yep. It's who sent the babies in there as well.
Personal realities, such as your tank, often respond to subconscious desires made by the inhabitants. So the tank is a greater part of your consciousness. The items would be in response to what you needed most of the time. That in itself would not be surprising. You're saying the items from the void came in regular intervals at the start and then what? They just stopped? That's right. Early on, too. The void should not have stopped giving you items, even to the very end. I originally thought that all the 5 of us were in some sort of competition, and you were the one who stopped the void from working after you had designated Egg as the winner. It seems you may have misinterpreted my messages. It was a riddle early on, yes? But the answer to that should have been clearer than when you 5 realized you're all one single entity. So one of the other messages went from you, RB? There were 3. I was obsessed with figuring out the truth of them for quite some time, so not mistaken on this. No, I only sent you 2 messages with your notebook as soon as the tank was formed. Was there anything else odd about your lives there? Yeah, something's starting to bother me too. You said you couldn't see or interact with us when we were inside the tank? That is correct. It was your reality. After an initial briefing period, I'm unable to interact with you unless you come to me. Everything in the tank except those few items from intersectional is a part of your greater whole. Although now I'm starting to understand that keeping a closer eye on this area may have been more beneficial than I thought. But you were just one product of memory. I couldn't predict if you reached this stage or not. A long time ago, when I was lost in pain, sick and frightened in the tank, I remember obsessing over an eye that would watch us from the outside. You're saying that I wasn't you? I've even mentioned it to you before, RB, I think. Earlier you mentioned someone named LHC being an observer or something. Could it have been them? This eye. If we were to assume that it was not one of your delusions, your suffering attracted its gaze.
Okay, he might know who it is.
The stealth, of course. No, the eye was not LHC.
Thank God.
I see now that perhaps I've made a big mistake. By not looking at the tank, the primary subject of this recruitment, I'm missing critical information.
What happened? What's going on?
That. They. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm trying to act professional right now, but the truth is
he dying? Oh.
I'm seething with anger!
What do you mean?
It looks like reforming your essences into one again might be impossible after all. And it is my fault.
Huh? But you just said.
Liam, I called LHC here to observe you, sure. But it is impossible that they are this eye you mentioned. LHC comes from a universe so distant that even I can barely speak to them. Even then, our conversations are often one-sided and somewhat distorted. I merely opened up a small window for them to watch. Just as people in many realities can watch television or read books or play games, it does not mean that they can directly influence what they observe. The purpose of calling it LHC was to observe your reality. They come from the dimension which can give power and credence to those they observe. That is common knowledge among territory lords. But barring very specific and very unusual circumstances, none of which we have here, they cannot directly interact with beings from other realities. I feel like a fool for not asking you more details about your time in the tank. Even after all this time, I still make big mistakes.
So if the eye watching you wasn't so long ago was an LHC, then who was it?
I think I got a very good idea. I told you to be prepared for a war.
Exactly. Exactly. Right.
But you should know. War is only really a war when there are two or more opposing sides. In recent times, many territory lords have had our domains shrink and our powers weaken. We thought it may have been just another conflict in our long history, turned out to be much more. Even among my kind, there is one who stands out as currently the most powerful. If they are involved in this already, I'm not sure what to do. Tell me, was there anything else strange that happened during your time in that tank?
Well, he never explained to us who the babies are. The load's process, so we haven't brought him up yet.
Babies? Yes, it happened a couple of years after Liam and Ink left, after the Void stopped giving us items regularly.
We kind of assumed that for a while they were Liam and Ink reincarnated or something. Turned out they were slowly doing damage to the tank by eating up all the plants. At least that's what I think. Last time we saw them, they tried to stop us from leaving the tank, which would have killed us.
This isn't good. For them to make the first move it means they're aware of my plans. How many other products of mine aside from yours that they attempted to soil? How many other plans have succeeded? Perhaps this is why I've had such a low success rate lately. When you say them, are you referring to the babies? I'm not sure yet. What other items did you get from the Void?
Rio Kosho, that thing.
Well, lots of supplies at first, and books. One of them was from you, even. One with a weird message on it.
Everything. My discovery of the Rio Kosho.
The world's oldest and deadliest civilization, written by Dr. Gatz. Well, that just about confirms it. The only reason they'd share with the tale of Dr. Gatz is to plant their seeds inside that tank.
Oh.
Wait, so you know about Dr. Gatz?
That was our favorite book. We read it over each year, over and over each year.
Dr. Gatz might have had infinity with me as well until they took him away. I'm not fond of that wretched man. He is the reason we're in this mess in the first place. Yes, I am familiar with the story. Most territory lords are at this point. This is a warning for the day when they decide to reclaim us all. Which is what a lot of us are trying to prevent.
Reclaim.
In the book, Dr. Gatz was studying something too. A tribe called the Rio Kosho. That journal is not fiction but fact. Dr. Gatz was a real archaeologist near reality once. He taught in a university based in Encinos.
Oh my god, the university.
But he got too close to them. He wanted to be their messenger. He was ultimately deemed unworthy and was written out of existence. The general was kind of scarce with details as to what happened to him in the end. We talked about it many times. So he died? Worse than death.
Yeah.
His existence never had any influence on any person around him in the end. By erasing him, they erased every consequence they ever had in his life.
That's too sad.
All the people he met, all the property they owned, by erasing him, they had to rewrite reality. Every sentient creature has an essence, and every living creature from every reality, yours, the Kingdom of Glass, LHC's, even my world where the territorial lords interact, they're all one at the very start of existence. Their ultimate goal, what we are trying to prevent, is for them to merge all realities together once again. All the territory lords on my side are recruiting their best minions. I am no different. You are to become one of my envoys to Encinos in the war to come. I suspect those babies are envoys too. Scouts of their army. Their goal in getting the tank, corrupting and killing the 5 of you, was to halt my action of gaining more powerful minions. They must know my plan to reform the 5 into 1, and reclaim a part of Encinos. If you'd known they were enemies, you could have removed them from the tank long ago. But the longer they came into your territory, the more they can make it their own. The stronger they become. They got strong enough they would even be able to close off your sectional, doorway where we could have met. What a shame.
What do you mean?
When you plant so many trees, it is unlikely that all of them will grow. Even if it is the tree that you want to blossom more than anything, there's no guarantee. I am disappointed in myself. I should have taken more precautions. I suppose that with the 5 of you here, it is not a total loss. You 5 may be valuable yet, though in a lesser way than I had initially hoped. But to reform, to become Alan once again, and to go back to your old life in Encinos, that is no longer a safe possibility.
Why?
You need to go back to the tank in order to reform. Even if they are lowly scouts, I'm not prepared to send you back there to fight against the Rio Kosho.
So that they're the Rio Kosho.
If you were to have fought them before they ruined the tank, there's a good possibility you would have won. They attempted to gain your trust and were secretly doing damage from the shadows for years. That is how our kind orders our minions. But now the part of your essence that was once the tank is lost.
But the tank is our home. It's been our home for decades now. I see. So yeah, they can't reform because the tank has been corrupted. And the tank was originally part of them.
You will have new homes under my guidance, just as Enk and Liam did for these many years. Even if we had a good life in the Kingdom of Glass, I always wanted to go back to the tank.
It always felt like there is some... again, yeah, some more typos in this section. It always felt like some unfinished business there.
I imagine these creatures are disposing your tank now and getting ready to return back to their hive mind.
I don't accept that. That shouldn't stop you from giving us power. It's like the last time you gave me power.
Our whole life we've been fighting against an invisible illness. Fighting against something that's visible should be a piece of cake.
I can give you power. I don't know how it will fare against envoys of the Rio Kosho.
I was born a scientist, so what I say should be more calculated. But I agree with Axie and Ink. I think we should do it anyway. Watching my old life from when I was Alan, I cannot feel there was so much unanswered from that period. Even if there's an infinitesimally low chance, theoretically, of us returning to that time, I want to take that chance. First thoughts I ever had in the tank were about getting back home. You're telling us that we can get rid of those kids and restore our tank to its former glory? It'll be possible?
The way I see it, if you're the logical side of Alan, then I'm the illogical side. For us to agree on something must mean it's worth it.
You all agree then? You want to go back? Even if it could result in your permanent deaths? Even if it's possibly futile?
Yes. I don't think I'd be able to live with myself otherwise.
Same here. You took the words right out of my mouth. Well,
This leaves me in a predicament. If I refuse to let you go, she'll resent me. I can see that. Territory lords and their minions must be in harmony to gain power. Now I need you to be at your most powerful when the war comes. But should I send you back and you all perish? Well, that would be a shame. I have many more prospects than you, some much more powerful as I mentioned, but none that could call Encinos their hometown. They only had one shot in getting someone from Encinos.
And we're still that shot.
Alright, fine. I knew picking a fight with the Rio Kocho was going to be an uphill battle anyway. We need to hurry then. Your tank could disappear at any moment. I can't do much more on such notice, but I'm giving you my blessing. As much power as I can reasonably spare. Just a human cannot enter an ant farm. I cannot assist you any more than this. My minions want to bet it all, and I, as your master, have to accept that. You will be powerful. But I have no idea of knowing how advanced those Rio Kocho scouts are. They could be of a similar development than you lot, or they could be much greater.
Wait. What do we do after we've taken care of the kids?
I cannot observe your tank from the outside, so you'll have to come to me through the sectional again. Let's go through the void and we'll discuss the rest. Alright. We'll see you soon, RB. Good luck, you five. Alan, use everything at your disposal. Wear your experiences like armor and wield it like a weapon. That's what it means to be an elite soldier of Rock Bottom.
Hell yeah, time for battle. Time to kick their asses.
I guess this is it. They made the first move after all. For me at least, it'll be over soon.
Oh, we're not going to see what happens? It broke. Oh no!
What an awful day. Liam and Hank, thank you for your years of service.
What the fuck?
Axie, Lana, and Neo. Sorry I never got to give you more than a touch of my blessing. I watched your life, Alan. I feel like as one entity you could have reclaimed many things. I'm sad that I couldn't help you erase the pain of those dead days of your youth. But against the weight of all worlds, you are but a pebble.
What the fuck?
Well, I suppose it's back to the drawing board. How will I get access to Encinos now?
What the fuck? Whoa! Act 5, the last struggle. This is absolutely unreal. Oh my god. Oh wait, it sounded like they died. Oh, I guess not though. Oh my god. Is this the final chapter of the story? Oh my god, I can't wait to see what happens, you guys. We are so late. Yeah, as you said, it's just as long as the first chapter. 2 hours and 45 minutes. My god, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I don't know how much of the story is left. And I don't know what's going to happen to them. I am worried, like, it seems like they want to go back. I'm just worried about, like, does that mean their individual personalities are going to die? Because that would be really sad. Oh my god, you guys. So, until next time. Tomorrow we'll continue some more trails. And we'll continue this on Tuesday. Until next time, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You're all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.